a question, a Q&A, please write in. I want to brainstorm with you. I want to interact with you. I'm not using any slides today because I know you kind of get webinared out with slide. So we're just going to try to make this as interactive and conversational as we possibly can. And if you need anything, Lauren, of course, is behind the scenes monitoring everything and can help jump in with that as well. If you don't know me, I'm a digital marketing and sales expert. I've been in the home building industry since 2001. I know, right? I look way younger than that. So I've been doing this a long time. I'm the president of Meredith Communications. We do digital marketing and sales training for home builders. It's really all we do. So I live it and breathe it every single day. So that's where my ideas come from today. So here's how I approached our presentation today. I'm going to give you a series of, let me look down at my notes, five acronyms / one word points. 5. And in that, with each one, I'm going to teach you a concept that will hopefully help you improve your virtual selling skills. My goal is also to do that in a short enough amount of time that we leave a lot of time for Q&A. So this could really go any direction you want it to go. If you want to know more specifics on the technical side or the apps or about phones or Zoom or whatever you need, I'm here to answer your questions. So my first acronym for you today is T like Tom, T, G like good, S like Sam, TGS. Meredith, what's TGS? Well, I'll tell you, TGS is something I invented, and it's stands for Technology Guilt Syndrome. Now, a lot of you right now are suffering from TGS. If you're on the marketing side of the business, you might be suffering from MGS, Marketing Guilt Syndrome. And I've always found that your mindset determines where you go and how successful you are, right? And if you go into virtual selling with suffering from an acute case of TGS or MGS, you're going to have trouble being successful. So I am here today. My first and foremost task, the mission that I have accepted, is to absolve you completely. It is out the window. You no longer have to suffer from it, from technology guilt syndrome. I don't care what technology level you've had in the past. Maybe you're feeling like, I do not know how to do all this stuff and I never learned, and that baggage, that voice is clicking away in the back of your head. Well, it's going to be very hard for you to move forward. Or maybe your TGS sounds more like, oh, so-and-so on our team is doing this and is doing this and is doing this every day. And I am barely brushing my teeth every day in this. And I feel guilty, like I'm not doing enough. Okay, put the baggage down, put the guilt down. So whether you feel like your technology skills aren't where they need to be today, or whether you feel like you aren't doing enough, or you aren't doing the same things that every other sales agent, so successful, is all doing, we're done with it. TGS, no more. Because my number 2, my next acronym for you is KISS. Keep it, what does it stand for? Somebody chat it in. What does it stand for? Keep it what? I'm waiting. I know one of you guys have it. Come on. Keep it what? Simple, stupid, right? Keep it simple. Thank you, Erin. Thank you for playing along. Keep it simple. And to be good at virtual selling, you do not need to be Mark Zuckerberg good at technology. You do not need to be Steven Spielberg good at filming videos. Not at all. In fact, the more genuine and authentic that you come across in today's environment, the more your communication when you're using technology will break through all of the noise and actually connect with someone. So you can be absolved today of feeling guilty about a lack of skill or not doing enough or not doing the right things because you really only need to do one thing. So what I would propose to you is find your lane when it comes to virtual selling. Pick a lane, get in the lane, and run with it. What do I mean by that? Well, there's a lot of different lanes. For example, maybe you want to keep it so simple, you're just going to use FaceTime to reach out to your customers that are currently under contract. Look, protecting your backlog is priority number one right now. It is the number one thing you can do. When was the last time you reached out to those people under contract and just said, hi, how are you? Are you well? Are you safe? And maybe the virtual part of this for you is you're going to send them a quick email or text message and say, hey, you have a second to catch up on FaceTime? And you're just going to show them your lovely face and they're going to see your lovely face, and FaceTime is your lane. If you find you're a bit technology challenged, FaceTime's about the simplest platform for you to use. But let's say you're not a FaceTime person, you're not an Apple user, you're an Android user or whatever else, and you don't like it, but you like Zoom. Okay, fine. Zoom is your lane. We are going to use Zoom. So the point is, don't feel like that if you don't know how to use Zoom, you should be doing that. No. When times are hard, when we're having to rapidly evolve into something, when things that maybe we should have known to do before are suddenly now required of us and we have no time to adapt and whatever, the last thing you want to do is make this more complicated right now. Why are you making it hard on yourself? Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Pick a lane. Maybe the lane you want to pick are video emails. So if you're not familiar with a program like BombBomb, and there's many of them out there, just Google video emails. Maybe you don't want to do live FaceTime with current customers, but you're going to take one morning every single week, record a 20-second video email and send it to all of your people under contract again, just to say, hi, I'm here. I hope you're well. I hope you're safe. I am thinking of you and your family. Please let me know how I can help during this time. And that's it. And that's going to keep you engaged with them. So I hope I'm giving you different examples, different lanes that you can pick from. But the point is, you don't have to do all of those things. You don't have to feel like I have to be FaceTiming and now I have to be Zooming and now I'm bombing and now I'm TikToking. I mean, I'm TikToking. I am not going to TikTok. I'm not. Seriously, I'm not. I have enough going on. I don't want to learn it. I'm not going to learn it. I'm not going to do it. Okay, I'll end up doing it, right? But that's the point. If you don't want to do the Twitter, Betty White, don't do the Twitter. Like, why? Why? Because we get guilted into it, because we get pressured into these things. Now, am I absolving you from completely participating in virtual selling? No, I'm not. I'm sorry. It's here. And I don't think it's going anywhere. I mean, I absolutely look forward to the day to get to see all of you, to come back to your association and do an in-person meeting and get to hug your necks and kiss your cheeks. Yes, I'm going to kiss some of you on the cheek when I see you again. I'll be so happy to see you. But do I think that some of our meetings that we've all done in person all this time might not eventually convert over to some Zooms? Yeah, I think they probably will, right? And some of the interactions that we've always done just kind of in person by habit, yeah, I think your customers are going to start to have some expectations along these virtual communication lines. And I don't think that will go anywhere. Will it be the only way we can communicate? Of course not. So you need to participate in this, but the question is how, and that's going to be up to you. Now, how do you pick a lane? Well, I pick a lane based on one, what do you enjoy? Like, if you enjoy Facebook and Facebook Messenger, you do it all the time. The politics posts don't bother you. They don't irritate you. You've got a pretty good set of followers on there. You know some realtors on there. That's your platform. Cool. great. If all that stuff on Facebook drives you mad and you can't take it, don't do it. Pick your lane. What social media channel, what virtual selling communication platform do you enjoy using? And then two, like, what are you comfortable doing from a technical standpoint? I mean, it's a whole step up to go from FaceTime to Zoom, right? Or maybe you've never gone live on Facebook and live streamed before, and going live on that really doesn't appeal to you. In fact, maybe doing video doesn't appeal to you at all. Well, I'd like to push you in that direction. I'd like to get you there eventually. But in the meantime, if taking really nice photos of the homes that are under construction, slapping a filter on there, making a nice little collage, sending that out to your people under contract with a note that says, I'm thinking of you, I hope you're safe and well. And if that's your lane, then go. So, this is not a one size fit all solution. So stop feeling bad about it and stop making it so complicated. Okay, so that's number one was TGS. Number two is KISS. Okay, so your third acronym today, in case you're keeping track, is live. So if you do want to do some video work, let's say you either want to go live on Facebook with a virtual open house, or you want to do a live Zoom where you promote that somewhere else, say like on Facebook, and then say, hey, I'm going to be at this link live on Zoom doing a virtual walkthrough of this property from 1 to 2 o'clock or whatever. Or let's say you want to do the video emails through BombBomb. Here's the formula that I literally use every time I do video is live. So L stands for location. I've watched a lot of your Facebook walkthroughs that you guys are bravely figuring out how to do on the fly, and they're awesome. They're great. But one observation I have for you is sometimes you guys kind of start inside the house somewhere and you don't tell me where you are. I have no context for what I'm looking at. So whenever you're doing video, in your mind, it's so obvious, but remember, in the viewer's mind, I don't have past what the immediate lens is showing me. And somebody like Brian, who specializes in photography and video, will totally get this point, that we get so focused on the subject, we kind of forget the composition of the shot. Well, when you're doing video with someone, you have to give them context of what they're looking at. So if you're going to do a walkthrough type thing, start outside. Start outside the front door. Let me see the exterior, right? If there's something to look at, it depends on how far along in construction it is. And then verbally give me your location. So it would start with something like this. Hi, I'm Meredith. I'm here today at Oak Ridge, a new construction community by ABC Homes. And I'm standing in front of the Oak model. See, I told you my name, I told you where I was, and I told you what you're looking at. That's the L for location in the acronym LIVE. That's what I need to know. Otherwise, I'm really confused. And instead of listening to you as you describe the open concept kitchen and the beautiful countertops and whatever, I'm thinking and not really listening because I'm trying to figure out like, what am I looking at? So if you want to get good at this, unfortunately, you're gonna have to watch the news. Sorry. But if you'll pay attention to the field reporters, the ones that the anchor cuts to out in the field, who's standing in front of where the building is burning, the on-location reporters, you will notice they almost always open up unless the anchor gives the context and tosses it. The reporter almost always starts with, hi, Brian, if that's the anchor's name, I'm standing in front of blah, blah, blah. And they almost always tell you what you're looking at. So that's location. Okay, I is for interesting. I is for interesting. So what can you tell me or show me that is interesting? So a lot of times we fall into the trap, and this is even true with your in-person when you get back to having people visit you in your model home or your sales center, your design center. We narrate what people are looking at, and here's the kitchen. Yeah, like, I know what a kitchen is. Like, that's not really interesting, right? So before you push record, jot down a couple, think it through ahead of time. What are a couple of interesting, I'm looking for little factoids, sound bites, if you will, that you could tell me that I couldn't readily observe or know about what I'm looking at. So this is our most popular plan. I wouldn't know that. That's interesting. We're using a particular type of countertop here that is da-da-da-da-da-da. I might not know that, right? And you don't have to make like a giant list of these, because honestly, the shorter the better on when you're doing video. So I just need a couple, really 2 or 3 factoid, interesting points you can make while you're talking that will intrigue me to want to know more, to reach out to you. Okay, all right. V is for view. So remember, we're on the acronym LIVE. L was location, I is interesting, V is for view. Please look around at what is around you. What is the view that I'm going to see? I'm sure some of you have seen some of the funny Zoom videos that have happened where there was something maybe indiscreet going on behind the person. Or like their underwear was on the chair air drying and they were on the Zoom and you're like, dude, I can see your underwear, right? It's like, what's the view? Now, because I do so much of this live work like this, I've put a fair amount of time into what you see behind me. But if you guys could see the 90% of the rest of my office here, it's a complete disaster. And I have on jeans with, so it's like, it's just what is in the view of the camera that they can see, just making sure it's professional and it's done well. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. And again, I do this a lot, so I invested some into this, but I swear to you, if y'all could see the rest of what I'm looking in here, it is a hot, unorganized mess of an office. Okay. But I did spend some time thinking about what I wanted you to be able to view today. So, and I'm stationary and I do most of my video work here. So it made sense. You might be moving around. So just before you press record, just look around at the home you're walking them through. Just kind of make sure there's not any obvious like safety hazards. There's not a pile of trash in the corner. Just kind of look around and make the view look as good as you can. When you're new to doing video work, a lot of times you're so busy looking at yourself and going, oh my God, where did those 3 chins come from? Like, I knew I had more hair than this. What is happening? You're so busy looking at yourself, you forget to look at the rest of the frame and what people are looking at. So keep the view in mind. Okay, again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but just make it professional is all we need. And then E for live. So remember, L was location, I is interesting, V is view, and then E is everything else. Meaning that you just want to think about the other people who is going to be listening and just be your genuine self. You do not have to be perfect. You can have an or an ah. You can get distracted. There might be a dog bark. Like, just prepare yourself that everything and anything can happen when you do video, and it might, and it's okay, right? The guidelines that you want to follow for it are just simply this. If you were to accidentally say something that wouldn't be appropriate, like if you were in the model home, you get a little curse word that slips out there or something like that, then obviously you want to hit delete and like start over. But otherwise, just know that it is not going to be perfect and it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Because again, you're making an effort to reach out and connect. And if you do it from that perspective, then it will be very well received. Okay, so that was live, number 3. Okay, now I don't really see any questions or anything in the chat box yet. So again, I am here, I am open, I'm available. If you have question and answer under Q&A or whatever, I'm doing all the talking. So I'm happy to interact with you and answer questions as they're coming along. Okay? Okay, number 4. Number 4, when you're doing virtual selling, and particularly just your mindset during this particular situation that we're in, is I want you to know it's okay. Okay? What do you mean, okay? Like we're all going to be okay? Yeah, I mean, we are, but that's not what I mean. What I mean is I want you to, when you're talking with your customers that are under contract, protecting that backlog, or engaging with new prospective buyers, I want you to let them know it's okay to buy or sell a home right now, because that's what they need to know. They need to know that it's okay. Because we haven't been through this. We don't know what this is. And there are people right now who need and want to move, need and want to buy a home. You guys know, a lot of you are writing contracts to them right now, and they need to hear it from you. So I'm not suggesting that you make false promises or false claims to them, but I am suggesting that you follow their lead. And I am suggesting that you project confidence and calm in all of your selling communication. How can you be confident and calm? Well, one example or one way that this comes to mind is if you're talking with someone and maybe they mention an article they read, or, yeah, I was talking to my wife and she's just not sure that home values are going to hold, and we might better wait and see what the market does. And so do you have a response for that? Do you have a calm, reassuring response? Or are you just gonna, yeah, I know what you mean? And in doing that, you're trying to empathize, but you also might accidentally lend credibility to the theory. And it's just not true. There are people right now who the particular job sector they're in, it's booming. They have job security. They are doing well in all of this, and there's nothing wrong with that. And they have the ability, desire, and the need to want to buy a new home right now. And you will follow that lead, and you will reinforce that it's okay. It is okay to move forward right now. And how do you know that? Because people are doing it. And this is where I say, going back to that conversation, somebody is sharing with you concerns that they may have, or that a family member has mentioned to them about, oh, maybe it's going to go down, the market's going to go down. Say, well, the truth is we don't know what the future holds. Nobody really does. I wish I had a crystal ball. But I can tell you that we are currently selling, that there are jobs and buyers that are very stable, if nothing else, are on their way up. I just worked with this lovely family last week. You see what I just did there? So whatever success your company, your team, you personally can tap into, that whole FOMO, fear of missing out. So when you mention, and again, I don't want you to do this falsely. Do not make this stuff up if it doesn't exist, okay? But if it genuinely exists, then you can lend what we call social proof to a conversation that demonstrates it's okay. And that's without you saying, with no evidence, hey, it's just okay. It's a great time to buy. Yeah, well, it's not really a great time for anything right now, right? I mean, honestly, some of us literally struggle to brush our teeth every day and just get through another day. It's a tough time. So you have to watch your tone. You don't want to appear or come across overly Pollyanna or overly tone deaf. But at the same time, I don't want you to give fear where there isn't fear. Instead, if you are making sales right now, or someone on your team is making sales right now, and you can reference that and tap into some social proof and say to that person you're talking to, I understand and I hear you. I was just working with this family last week who went under contract for, you see that lot, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say lot, home site. You see that home site over there that you're talking about? Yeah, that you're looking at. Yep, they're just going to be right down the road there from you. They've selected that home site, and they're going to do elevation B. Oh, such a nice family. If you end up moving here, I know you would love to meet them, right? And you're just building a picture. Again, I want that to be true. I don't want you to make it up. But moving forward from this webinar today, I want you to be brainstorming and have your creative hat on. In addition to social proof, what are some other ways that you can create confidence without making false claims, that you can help people know it's okay? Because I think you need to give them permission right now to move forward. Like, they want to do it, and you are giving them permission that that's an okay thing to do. And again, it's for situation by situation. And so they have to lead it, because ultimately, obviously, it's from them. But then you make sure you're not doing anything that takes away from that you're adding additional calm and confidence. I was talking to a VP of sales and marketing yesterday, a builder out west, and it'd been a dry 2 or 3 weeks in terms of sales. And they started getting a couple of this past week. And she said, I really think the difference is our team needed the permission and to really embrace that it's okay for people to buy right now. So I'm literally telling you that. And then I hope you'll internalize that. And I hope you'll scrutinize how you communicate with people, because in little tiny words and little tiny facial expressions, you may be communicating the opposite, and it's having a negative effect on you. Okay, and then number 5, last but not least, I have the word help written down here on my list. And so, yes, it's an okay time to buy and sell a home, and we want to give people that confidence. But again, if it's not the right time for them right at this moment, you are here to help. You're here to help. If you approach everything I'm talking about from the perspective of, I'm here to help, I'll give you the information you need, or I'll walk you through, or I'll explain how you build a custom home, or how you pick out a home site, or whatever you need right now, I'll do it. I'm here. That really famous quote, I think it was Mr. Rogers that said it. What did he say? He said, look for the helpers. In times of crisis, look for the helpers. That particular little quote really, really helps me when I start getting down, when I've been on social media too much, and I get the feeling that we're just all fighting each other constantly and arguing constantly. I think to myself, no, that's not really America. That's not really the United States. Because it's interesting, when I'm not on social media and I'm out with you guys, getting to travel around and giving my talks and doing my trainings, and the people I encounter, I'm just, in the airport struggling, or on the plane trying to get my bag up in the overhead bin. I mean, it never fails somebody asks me if they can help me. Like, just from the most mundane, irritating tasks like flying, to important times like 9/11 and other times throughout our history, we are helpers. That is who we are as a country. And that's really how we feel about each other. And all of the infighting that goes on about politics on social media, it really isn't happening as much out there when you get out. And that's what's so difficult about the particular challenge we face right now, is we don't get to get out and engage with each other to get the broader perspective. So we get very tunnel vision because we're just here in this house another day, make it stop, right? But I'm telling you, and I promise you, that there is a broader perspective. And that is that there are a lot of helpers out there. And I know that every single one of you that's on this Zoom today, you're one of them. So come from that perspective. Yes, I'm virtually selling you, but I'm really just here to help. A good example I can give you is an online sales counselor who's one of the best in the country. She works for a builder up in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is one of the 5 states right now that has deemed home building and residential construction as non-essential. So they've been completely shut down to all building activities. But she's still in her house fielding website chat leads and doing her online sales counselor work. It's not as brisk as it was, but they've still got a few people that they're talking to every day. And she said it's interesting that who she's talking to right now is a lot of medical professionals. Now, there's an industry that is in demand right now, right? So job security, has ability to buy a home. I mean, that's a great industry. And she's like, a lot of these folks are saying to me, I can't believe you're conversing with me. I can't believe how much great information you're giving me. You're really helping me. I mean, she's like, I've been doing this so long, I've gotten a little jaded, and their overwhelming gratitude for the service I've been providing has really woken me back up to what it is we do every day. And I was like, wow, that's a cool story. Thank you for sharing that with me. So look for the helpers. You're the helpers. And as you communicate with folks, it's really about what can I do for you during this time without expectation. And when you approach it that way, I know you're going to be incredibly successful with what you're doing. Okay, so that gets us through my 5 acronyms / words for what I wanted to cover with you. So let's do some Q&A. I'm gonna have to put my glasses on so I can read the screen and see what we've got, if we've got any here. All right, so this is a perfect time. Please chat your questions in to the Zoom chat. It is an icon at the very bottom of your Zoom toolbar, approximately underneath my chin. Depending on the size of the Zoom screen that you've got there. We've got one here that says, do you suggest we upload the video to YouTube? Okay, and then should we edit the video or keep it raw footage? Okay, so these are 2 awesome questions. Let's tackle both of them. All right, number 1, what is the purpose of the video? What is the purpose? So with any of this virtual selling that you're doing, I want you to think about what is the purpose of this. If it's going to be a one-on-one communication, so you just want to film a quick video walkthrough of a home under construction to send it to that home buyer to create calm and confidence and protect that backlog, you don't really need to get that onto YouTube, right? You could, but it would be more effective to use one of the video email programs or products that I mentioned, like BombBomb, that would allow you to film the video in their platform and then hit send through the platform, and it just sends it to them. And you have a much better chance of the email going through, not going to junk, than being able to play it, etc. So for one-on-one communications, I would not. Let's say you're going to do something more where it's going to be you and you're hoping that many people will see it. Okay, well then there we've got a couple more options. So in that case, yep, you could film it and then you could upload it to YouTube, and then you could take it and put a link to it in an email, send it to a group of people in an email, something like that if you wanted to. If you're really wanting this to be seen on Facebook, then my experience has been, and some of the others of you that are here that are experts, please chime in on chat. But my experience has been, you want to upload the video directly to Facebook and let it live in Facebook. And then it will do better in their algorithm in terms of how many of your connections will see it. So I think YouTube we use more when we're going to upload a video and we want it on our website, on a web page. In that case, YouTube's a great, efficient, effective way to embed video onto websites. But if it's for one-on-one communication, I'd rather you use an email product for that. Or if you're wanting people to see it, I'd rather you upload it directly to LinkedIn or upload it directly to Instagram or directly to Facebook. And you're going to get a lot more views and a lot more interaction with it. Okay, great question. Oh, yes, your second part of your question was, should we edit the video or keep it raw footage? Okay, well, that depends. Number one, I do really prefer that you keep it short and sweet and as genuine as possible. Again, as long as you don't commit any of the 7 deadly sins that would be considered unprofessional by your company. You know, like think about like things that you know, are in your guidebook of how you are to behave in a model home. The being careful not to have any kind of innuendo that's about politics, sex, drugs, or rock and roll, right? Those old, remember that, all that old stuff? As long as it doesn't have any of the 7 deadly sins in it, then I kind of favor towards keep it simple. I'm going to talk about length in just a minute and just get it out. And don't worry too much about editing it. Obviously, if something like that happens, then it needs to be edited or just start over. I mean, my goal when I'm doing this stuff, honestly, is I like to get it in a take because the less amount of video editing I do, the better. I can send to Lauren at this very moment, I am blanking out, but I have a couple of apps on your phone that are really simple video editing apps that I can recommend to you. Maybe they'll come to me while I'm talking. If somebody has a video editing app that they like, please put it in the chat for all of us. But for me, video editing is probably my weakest technology skill. I'm not good at it. So I like to film using my phone and edit with an app on my phone. For me, that's the easiest way. I have a Mac. I have never understood iMovie. I will never understand it likely. And when I feel I need something that edited to that degree, I pay a professional, right? Which is not going to be feasible for the average salesperson. So I would say you film it with your phone and then you can edit it super easy on the phone, quick, and then you're done. Okay. Okay. How long do you suggest a virtual tour should be? Okay. This is a great question. I get this a lot. Personally, when you give someone a deadline or a time frame, if I say to you, most people only watch about a minute to a minute and a half of any video, which is true, suddenly I kind of freak out. Like, how do I say everything I want to say in a minute and a half? When you put that time restriction on someone, it's hard. I'll give you an analogy. Whenever I go to speak, and somebody's like, you have 15 minutes versus 45 minutes, believe it or not, the 15 minutes is way harder because I still have to give you a good result. You still have to learn something. So every single word counts, right? It takes so much more planning. Well, that's true about video too. So my tip would be, don't worry about the length. Understand that somebody's going to pay attention. The most they're going to absorb is going to be that first 30 seconds, 45 seconds, maybe a minute. So if you have those little factoids, those little sound bites, say them up front. Don't save your good stuff for the end. But at the end of it, if your video goes 4 minutes, I don't care. Because if somebody's interested in what you're saying, they'll keep watching. That's cool. So there is more if they want to keep watching, but just know they're probably not you're not going to get a lot of views after the short amount up front. But putting a deadline on it, especially when you're not trained in video delivery, is hard. So what do you want to say? Get that call to action up front. That's the most compelling information that you want to share about this home that you're giving a tour of. And then If you want to expand upon it, walk to some other rooms, whatever, that's fine. I wouldn't keep going 9 or 10 minutes. I mean, there's just really no point. I would try to keep it to 4 or 5 minutes and then be done. You're just putting more pressure on yourself to come up with something to say. If for some reason for you, the thought of keeping it short makes this actually simpler or easier for you, fine, I'm all about it. But if it makes it harder, I get that too. All right, let me get the glasses back on here. Let me see what else we've got. Do you think it's okay to use an iPhone? Yeah, 1000%. Now, is it an iPhone 5? No. So if you've got an 8, 9, 10, 11, you're probably fine. All right. So I film almost everything I do with my iPhone. I happen to have an 11 Pro because I do a lot of this video stuff, right? So invest in the best iPhone you can, but 100% yes. Yes, you can absolutely film with your phone. There's 2 things you got to keep in mind: lighting and audio. I can forgive a not great, like your hand shaking a little bit, and it not being Steven Spielberg quality video, as long as I can clearly hear you, right? So it's the audio. You start paying attention when you watch something. If the audio's bad, you're out. The minute the audio goes bad, you're out. It's like, it almost hurts our brains. We can't hear. It's just like, no, make it stop, right? How do you fix that? Okay, so you see I've got my AirPods in. Your AirPods actually have a pretty decent mic in them. So if you were to put a set of AirPods with your phone, you could record and this mic would pick up your audio and it would really sound quite good. Of course, you could use corded earbuds if that's what you have. If you don't have a set of wireless AirPods, you could use the corded ones, right? And that would be fine. It's just a little bit harder to work with a cord if you're going to be walking around a house, right? Trying to show. But if you're stationary, if you're just going to be doing the video emails, sending them to your customers, and you're going to sit down at your kitchen table, then the wired. Okay, my video just froze. Okay, oh my God. Lauren, my heart just stopped. Chat me and make sure that you still have me, because like my video totally froze on the screen and okay. So some of you, yes, I am living in a brand new construction home in a new construction neighborhood where they do cut the internet line sometimes. Okay, I'm awake. Good. Okay, thank you guys. Okay, so see, stuff happens. What was the E in live? Everything else. It's gonna happen. Just roll with it. Okay, so anyway, yeah, so if you're just gonna be sitting still, the wired earbuds to your phone will give great sound. So always think about audio. And number 2 is lighting. All right, so if you'll go to Amazon and type into Amazon ring light, there are many different types on there. There are desktop ring lights. I have a ring light that's lighting me right now. I buy the one on a stand, on a tripod stand. So it could either be, waist high if I'm sitting at a desk, or it can be, if I stand up and record, it's as tall as I am. And a ring light gives you this soft, nice light that is both helps you appear to be younger and make sure everyone can see you. So just kind of think about lighting. If you don't have the budget, or you, again, want to keep it simple on your lighting, then what you always want to do is make sure the lighting is coming towards your face, not from behind you. Okay, don't stand in front of a window and film the video with the camera facing the window. You stand in front of the window with the light from the window on your face. So natural soft light from outside is perfectly fine. And again, if you're a professional and can get lit around you, great. But again, if you're just keeping this simple, don't worry so much about the light all around you. Just make sure they can see you and they can hear you clearly. Okay.
Hey, Meredith,
right.
it looks like you have a couple couple of people with their hands raised. Would you mind
Yeah,
taking
yeah.
a live question or comment from them? I'll allow them.
No, not at all.
Okay,
No.
Stacy has had her hand up quite a bit, so I think she's ready
Sorry,
to.
Stacy.
Oh, no, wait a minute. Now they just all lowered their hands. Oh, no,
Oh,
there's
come
Stacy's still
on.
there. Here we go.
I
All right,
know, right?
Stacy, you are able to talk. Stacy, what's going on?
So this was a Zoom automatic hand raise. I did not know I had my hand raised. So thank you for bringing that to my attention.
And now you've learned.
We are learning now, I know.
We are learning together. Yes.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
No problem.
All
yeah.
right.
Yep. But that's, anybody else on, I see, hands raised. Okay. Yep. I'm looking where you're looking now. I also got the Q&A opened for a second, Lauren, while you were doing that. Yes, Juan agrees. He does notice more video, more views when the video is uploaded directly to Facebook versus posting the link from YouTube. Yep, that's been my experience as well. Let's see, I think, okay, if you're doing a virtual tour, should you be talking the whole time when you're recording, or should you stay quiet? I think you want to be talking most of the time. I mean, you can pace yourself, and, I don't know if you've noticed while I've been doing this, but there are times I talk louder and I do more. There are times I kind of try to bring it down. There's times that I kind of will lean into you and lean into my webcam. So I think variety is good, because you don't want to talk the whole time and it come off really monotone. But this is again where short is maybe easier, because then you don't have to think of so many things to say. Or maybe as you're walking through, you just need one little factoid per room and then move on. Remember, you're not trying to completely replace an in-person visit with this virtual walkthrough. You're trying to engage, create some interest, create awareness. We're not closing the sale with this thing. So you don't have to cover every single nook and cranny, and you don't have to tell me every single thing about this house. I just really need a couple of cool things. I need to hear the passion in your voice. I need to hear your desire to help. And then I'm going to contact you to tell me more. And that's something we haven't touched on, which is call to action. So make sure, if the point is that you're putting this out there, make sure that when you, let's say you post it on Facebook, call me, message me, I'm here to help. So invite them to contact you. Again, that's part of how you say it's okay to move forward right now. When you give people permission to contact you, text me, I'm here. What else? Where have I got to go? Like, make a joke about it. But I mean, that's part of how you let people know, oh, well, people are having conversations right now about buying. Yeah, all day long, every day. And so again, that's part of how we communicate that. So call to action is really important. Let them know the best way to contact you, and you the best way to contact them. All right. Do we have any other hands up, or what other questions do we have? We've got a couple minutes. Lauren, I don't want to go over our time together, but I want to make sure I get everybody. This is a broad topic, and I don't know what your expectations were, what your needs are today. So I want to help you make sure that they get met. So
this is great. Thanks, Meredith. And if people do have follow-up questions, or if there's sales management that needs to get in touch with you today, tomorrow, next week, next month, whatever, how should they best do that? Can you provide your contact information?
Sure, absolutely. So you can find me at meredithcommunications.com. That's our company website. And on there, you'll learn information about us and our services. You can certainly email me, meredith@creatingwow.com. And you can definitely find me on all the social media channels, from Facebook to LinkedIn to all of them. Now, the one where I have the most fun, although not as much lately, is Instagram. Meredith Shoes 22, where I gram all of my fabulous high heels, although I haven't had anywhere to wear them lately. I'm currently wearing flip-flops. But normally I have all kinds of shoes posted on that channel. So I would love to hear from you. Yeah.
Thank you so much for being with us today. Stay well, and hopefully we will see you very soon.
I can't wait.
Thanks, everybody.
Let me out of here.
I know. And just a reminder, again, we have another webinar next Thursday. It's a panel discussion. Details will be on the website soon, and that is my dog drinking in the background. So here we are on this together.
Yes, we are, because we are essential people. You are essential, and we are essential, and we are going to see you very soon.
Thanks so much.
Meredith, real quick, can I jump in real quick?
Yeah,
Of course,
please.
Brian.
I just noticed there was one more really good question that came through, if you want to take a look at that.
Sure.
About an older demographic, looking at.
Yeah, tell me. I don't see
Tech-savvy.
it. Read it
It
to
says,
me. Or give it
the
to me.
question was from Ellen Reese. It says, what is your recommendation with an older demographic who may not be tech savvy?
Yeah. So when you're talking with someone, it's not only do you obviously want to stay in your lane, in your comfort lane of technology, but you want to assess real quickly what they're comfortable with. So if you say to them, well, hey, could we talk now? You have a second? Like if you were emailing. Yeah. Okay. You want me to call you? You want to FaceTime? You want to Zoom? Like you just kind of rattle off a couple options. And if they go, what's Zoom? That's out, right? Like we're not going to learn to Zoom on this phone call, right? So that just kind of tells you really quick. And if they go, sure, FaceTime's great. Okay. Or if they go, I don't really do any of that stuff. Can you just call me? Sure. Right. So I think you just need kind of like a qualifying question that you feel comfortable with, and don't list anything you don't feel comfortable with, but what, of what are the options to communicate, but you are giving them an option for a richer conversation. Since you can't meet with them in person, I want you to throw that out where they can see your lovely face. But if they're not comfortable with it, that's fine. Most folks, like, if you suggest FaceTime, I mean, a lot, even what we call older generations that don't seem as old now, clearly, the older I get, they're very comfortable with FaceTime. They do it with their grandkids all the time. But if they're not, that's cool.
Thanks, Brian, for pointing that out. I overlooked that Q&A. So thank you. And thanks again, Meredith, and everybody for being with us. We hope to see you next Thursday.
All right. Thanks, guys. Take care. Stay well.